there is a modern concern, a lot of with the young ones, especially the ones in their 20s. Now, when you're watching YouTube and in social media, they see a lot of self-made millionaires. You see, they look at Mark Zuckerberg, creator of Facebook. He dropped out of college. You look at Bill Gates. He dropped out.
Oh, influencers.
They look at Jay-Z. He dropped out. They look
all
at
those
Beyonce.
people.
She dropped out. Yeah, everybody.
So the question they're asking themselves is college or education system, in itself, is it actually important? Because there's a lot of people who do not go to college and actually be successful. Now, do you actually need education to be successful in life? Or is it just another...
They're not the norm, though. They're the exception. They're the exception. They've had a chance to hone their talent. They've spent probably over 20,000 hours doing that one particular talent, and that's why they're exceptional. And yes, they realized that when they were in something, you know what, this isn't for me.
Right.
And they moved on and started their career. But when this idea of there aren't very few people who are like Mark Twain. Mark Twain was self-educated.
Yes.
Totally self-educated. Could he get a job as a teacher? Nope. I'll bet you any money he couldn't. Why? Because he doesn't have the paperwork.
Right.
And why do we have paperwork? Why do we have the degrees? Why do we have the universities and the colleges? That's because of the fact that it's a way to prove that you can learn.
Actually do that.
That you can learn. And when you go in to work at any corporation or even in a school, you are still prepared to learn because you've proven you can. And that's really all that education does. You prove that you can learn. And there are exceptional people who they've learned and they've moved out of the standard educational world, but they're exceptions.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Nikola Tesla would be an exception. Elon Musk would be an exception.
They have education, though.
Yeah, they do have education. They've, like I've said, they've moved beyond the educational world.
Right. They try to do their own thing.
Exactly.
Their own learning.
Yeah. And really reinvent a lot of the standardizations that we have. Now, is standardization tests good?
I heard a very funny quote.
Okay.
It said that we hand our students standardized tests, but we ask the teachers to differentiate the questions. It's, and to differentiate our teaching.
Differentiate the teaching, but not actually differentiate the questions of the tests. The tests are still standard, and you can't mess with them. You can read it to them. You can't interpret the question for them. You can't do anything along that line. But make sure that when you're teaching them, you differentiate. You provide them with that. And then I was once worked, and there was a minister of education, and the minister of education said, "Why is it we arm our students with laptops in middle school?" Because every student in that particular jurisdiction received a laptop. And they were allowed to go through, and they had spell check and grammar check and everything else as they're writing. But when we go to test them, we put a pen in their hand. We don't give them the tool that we've been teaching them.
True. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys a very hard question, because as educators, so I've been hearing a lot from the younger generation coming up. They are having trouble realizing that education is actually important. They think that it's not needed at all. That they would, if they were CEO of a company, they would rather choose somebody that has experience over someone that just has a paper that says that he can do it.
Imagine somebody who has both.
Sure.
So what do you say to those people that think like that?
Experience will take you everywhere. It will take you around the world. but it'll be very hollow experience if you don't have knowledge to lay a foundation.
Right.
You know, so for me, if I was to say to a young and upcoming CEO that wants to choose an experience over an educator,
So it's experience versus a college degree.
I would say to them that a college degree shows that a person has perseverance. They have academic perseverance, that they've stuck through something that was at time more challenging than just having experience. And this is where it gets interesting to me, because every A you get on any test shows you had to work for that A.
Right.
Every mark you get, you worked for that. It's a reflection of self. So academic perseverance is something that will last longer in a company, because you'll get longevity out of that person. And that, for me, is why a college degree is a better option than experience.
Right.
Because experience comes in different forms. I mean, you could manage a little show. That's a kind of experience. But if we have to have a curriculum vitae, a CV,
Right.
of our experiences in life, that'll be 4 million pages long. But you don't put that down in your CV.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, see, this is where the old school comes out. CV versus resume. A CV is a curriculum vitae, and a professional CV could be pages and pages long, whereas a resume, it's at 1 to 2 pages. It's a resume of your past 5 years. And but a CV is different, and that's the problem that employers are confused when they ask for a CV or a resume. They say, please send in a CV that's 1 page long.
How? Yeah.
How's that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a completely different matter. But looking at it, experience versus education, basically you need a little of both. Right? You can have, there's all sorts of people that I know who they have their PhD and they're absolutely brilliant about one tiny little thing, but they can't balance a checkbook.
Exactly.
So do you need
Exactly.
you need a balance? There has to be a balance that's created.
Right.
Is that the misconception, though? A PhD means that you know everything underneath the table.
No. You know, a PhD means you know an awful lot about a specific thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
We need that.
You might know everything there is about the apical meristem of conifers, but you may not know.
I've got a math question and you just, I don't know.
You may not know how to light a campfire.
Exactly.
There you go. Or survive out in the woods.
Or change a tire.
Or change our head. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, like that's a real one.
Check for your oil. No, what's that? Right?
Taxes, mortgage, all that stuff.
Exactly. Things that actually matter in life. There you go.
They'll come back to you and haunt you.
Exactly.
When you actually are not expecting them to haunt you. You know.
Oh, but if you make your money as an influencer, you'll just hire people to do that,
to
right?
do that for you.
True.
Right?
And that's where you need the people that have all
But
those
the
college
thing is,
degrees.
yeah, you can have all those people, but if you don't know how to track what they're doing, they walk away with their
They
money.
will cheat you.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens to a lot of lottery winners.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They would hire people to do the work for them, and then they would slowly take out all the money that they earned. And
I'm gonna try that, winning the lottery.
yeah,
That's gonna be a win for everyone. You know.
that's crazy. Because 95% of lottery winners actually end up broke.
Really.
95%.
Yeah, because they don't know how to manage the money.
Exactly.
Really? Where'd you get that number?
95%. Well, that's a percentage in America anyway.
Oh, really?
95% of people that win the lottery go broke.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because you got your everyday Joe. All of a sudden, he has like $5 million.
Yeah. What do you even do with that compared to having nothing before?
He starts
you know?
buying mansions, Lamborghinis, and all that crazy shit, and before you know it,
The taxes eating him alive.
exactly. And your average Joe, he doesn't know how where money comes from, where
Exactly.
how taxes work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they don't. That's another thing about the education system that they need to add. It's the monetary system.
Yeah, that's something that's, you know, they try to teach you in accounting and those things,
Yeah.
but are they doing a proper
But you
job?
got economists that do not know what money actually is.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's
But you
a
know,
very
if
true
you look at the
statement.
Canadian education system, basically through high school, the regular math course, I believe it's in grade 11, depends on the province, but they take them through and show them how to file an income tax statement, how to
That's
create a
amazing.
budget, how to balance checkbooks. Those are parts of the math courses, and then life skills courses that exist out there. But
That's amazing.
And those are
the-
basic skills that you need as
Absolutely.
every
Taught
citizen.
that. I was never taught how to do my tax returns.
Same
And
here.
then I have to go to an accountant and then pay them to do a skill for me, which I should know how to do.
Exactly.
It's
Not really. No. There's value in paying for them because they know the ins and outs and they know all the details, and that's what they do, and they do it well. It's just like if on an American football team, you have a linebacker, he's a specialist at that job. Is he able to go and do all the other positions? He knows what they do,
Yeah.
but can he do it?
Yeah.
Can he
Exactly.
do it? Well, no.
Can't be a quarterback.
You
Yeah.
need
Right.
and that's the biggest mistake. That's the biggest mistake that is made by so many people. They feel that, oh, I should be doing my own income tax. I should be doing. Whereas what they need to do is they need to know, how do I find who can do my income tax well? Am I going to pay a large corporation that sets up inside of a department store every tax season, or am I going to go to and they train people for 6 weeks on how to do taxes, or am I going to go to a professional accountant who knows tax law, who can also, after filing my taxes, can say, would you like to pay less tax next year? This is what you should be doing. And they provide you with advice. So, and it's the same thing with any other profession. And it's this, the problem is that it's that lack of respect for the education and knowledge base that profession has. And it's the same idea. When I see all these people in Egypt, it's a very big thing that people apply to be teachers, and I've seen people their CVs sent to me and their degrees in architecture, so therefore they think they should be able to teach math. They have no educational background. They have no idea of teaching methodologies or anything, but because they have that skill set. And there are dentists who apply to teach science.
Yes.
And people who
Sorry,
have a
but-
business degree and say, I'm tired of the business world, I want to be a grade 1 teacher.
Right.
Yeah, that's not
eaten
gonna.
alive. That's
Yeah,
not
they're gonna be eaten alive.
No, they're in the system.
Yeah.
In Egypt, they are in the system.
They're in over their
And-
head.
They try
the
to
thing
relate
is no,
Yeah.
actually,
one and two
no,
together.
Actually, they've already proven they know how to learn, and they get in there, and they learn very quickly. And if the school is well administered by a professional principal, that person can guide them into becoming a good teacher. However, for the principal, does it not make more sense to hire somebody who's gone through and they've taken education? They have a bachelor's of education, and during that bachelor's of education, they decided to specialize on becoming a math teacher, or they decided to become an early childhood teacher. And again, there's so many different programs out there for bachelor's of education, but again, each bachelor's of education has to have that internship. With that internship, that is where they garner the experience that you're talking about. Who do you hire? Somebody with no experience in teaching, but they are a dentist, so they know science very well. Or do you hire somebody who They have a Bachelor of Education, they specialize in science, and they have the teacher training inside the classroom with a mentor for at least a period of time. So that's what makes it difficult.
Well, obviously the one is just more appropriate to have because you've gone through a certain kind of education. You've gone through the motions. I mean, but then again, sometimes, like if I look at myself, stepping into education, everyone finds their own route to get there. And some teaching is sometimes very natural for people. That's another thing that's very interesting. Some people just have this natural affinity towards, so that engineer who steps into the classroom and might just have this natural affinity towards being a teacher, but the question is, will an employer, they won't see that until they are in the environment.
But the natural affinity might be there, but it still has to be taught. The pedagogy, how to go about planning, how to go about even doing proper assessment of the students.
Basic stuff.
Yeah, I've been in education for a long time, and you know what? I think tomorrow I'm going to apply to that hospital down the road. I'm going to be a brain surgeon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Anybody want to be my first patient?
I wouldn't trust you with the butter knife. Right? So.
Hey.
That's real facts, though.
That's true. That's true.
And then there's the other fact that in Egypt, private schools look at it and they say it's expensive to hire somebody who has a bachelor's of education, and I can hire these people who don't and pay them less and increase the profit. And that's
the business game.
Fact. But then at the same time, they're bringing in qualified educators to oversee those people and mentor them and provide in-servicing and that. So it's a long process, but it appears to be a system that's working because there are some very strong schools, very strong private schools, and when you look at the staff, a lot of the staff they don't have a bachelor of education, but what they do have is they have a strong administration that provides the in-servicing and the training and monitors everything that's going on.
As long as they somewhat do
they supplement it somewhere.
Exactly.
Along the line.
Exactly. Now, there are a lot of questions as well as to the younger generation that they ask. And one of them is that, okay, so in the battle of experience and bachelor degree, you gotta have a little bit of both. Now, with the younger generation, they feel like as if they've leaned on to the side of experience more. They are convinced that college is not needed at all.
And yet, college is probably the best time of your life.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They don't know that.
Exactly.
They're not getting there yet. But please continue. Sorry.
So, one of the things that they've been taught about is that college is not important at all. They don't really need that in terms of, because they see all these influencers and all these people getting rich quick, and we talk about that instant gratification, and that has a huge play in how they think, that instant gratification.
Well, it's a very biological thing. It's dopamine. You get a hit of dopamine, same as you go have a drag of a cigarette, you get a hit of dopamine, you suddenly feel a lot better, and then suddenly you've relaxed for 2 minutes, and then afterwards you're just more stressed.
Now, there's a quote that a lot of the younger generation they use all the time, which is, now you go to a business school, college, you study business. You have the professor, which is teaching you business, right? Now the student asks the professor, your business, you teach business, right? So how come, what kind of businesses do you have? He doesn't have any. So how come you're teaching me about business when you yourself don't have any businesses?
But that goes back to what Jordan said earlier on. Does the doctor take the same medication?
I told you guys we're gonna start there.
It's theory of
So
practice.
what do you
In
what do you have to
actuality,
say to that?
But in reality, that professor does have a business, and they're providing a service to the university and being compensated for it.
Bingo.
And they're very comfortable with the amount of risk that they're taking,
Right.
and they're happy inside that particular organization, and that is what they're doing. They
That's a
did
very
a
important
risk
word.
assessment, and this is as risky as they want to get. Do they want to put it on the line? No, but they can teach people how to do and analyze those risks themselves, and then they make that choice whether or not they want to
You heard this.
go outside of an organization, or whether they want to be independent and take the risk all by themselves. Again, big, hard thing to do, to go out on your own. And many people like the fact that there is an organization that will provide them with a salary and benefits
Yes.
for their service. And that's what that would be the response, that if I was the professor being asked that. It's the same thing as the doctors that are being trained in medical schools. Are the doctors who are teaching in medical schools still practicing? I don't know. Depends on the school, depends on the organization and the way that they want to provide the instruction of the medical practice. There are some schools where literally after the second week, the students are with a doctor, and they're almost as they're going through an internship program or an apprenticeship type of style program.
Right.
And apprenticeship is a great way to learn almost anything. It takes you back.
Experience.
But it's the system, the educational system that provides the guidelines for that apprenticeship.
Absolutely.
And so you need those guidelines for the apprenticeship. And you need a way to assess the apprenticeship. And
Yeah.
again, that is where the education system comes in. They provide the guidelines on how to assess that apprenticeship.
Absolutely.
And organizations, be the pipe fitters, electricians, whatever, those organizations during that time have some educational body that is actually providing the guidelines for that apprenticeship and that certification that they'll receive. And so that's what you can point out to the students. The same thing as going out for a specific professional team. If you're going out and you write an exam and you know everything and every single rule in that rule book for hockey, does that mean you can be a professional player? No.
No.
What is it? It's the person who goes out and they spend the time and they're being guided by people who do know those rules, who don't have that necessarily talent that they see in that athlete, but they have the ability to guide that athlete to
Absolutely.
something more than what they are.
Amen.
And so that's just a way to point it out to them. So often, especially this year, I've seen a very talented athlete who thinks that they know everything, they don't need to worry about following the guidelines, that they will be a superstar. Well, I'm sorry, you know what? When I was their age, I was going to be a hockey superstar. Just like at their age right now, they think they're going to be a soccer superstar. And that's the dream that parents and kids have. And that brings you back to the parent who will spend $50 for half an hour golf lesson, but won't spend $50 for an hour of tutoring in math.
True. True. That's a very good answer.
Man, that's like the best answer.
You're off the table so far,
Yeah, take this away. Risk assessment. No, Director Jacques is like talking about the bare bones, the marrow within the bone. It is the risk assessment.
Right.
Take this away. Okay, because I hope that they heard this.
That's a very
Director Jacques, man. Round of applause, that experience.
because they use that example a lot. That's a definitely.
Let's get that one going, man.
That's a very good answer.
That's gonna help a lot of people right there.
Hopefully it has some value.
Yeah, that's gonna help a lot of people right there.
Now, within the education system, there are different types of systems. We got the American system, got the IB, then we got the British system,
The Canadian,
and then we got
and the
Canadian
Singaporean,
system.
and the Swedish,
Oh,
and the Finnish.
oh, really?
Yeah,
And the
Switzerland is
Chilean.
huge, man.
Every country has it, and you have to remember that most educational systems aren't necessarily by way of the name of the country. You have to go by way of the region within the country, and every zone has their own approach. There are some absolutely incredible schools that really focus on almost an entrepreneurial approach from kindergarten all the way up.
Exactly.
And they
We're talking about
exist
Switzerland
in,
now.
Yes.
They exist in a variety of countries.
In Finland as well.
Finland, yeah.
Again, but a lot of those countries.
Those European countries,
Well,
yeah.
not even European. There are some excellent schools in Canada and the United States.
Absolutely.
That have an entrepreneurial thrust, but then there are some that have an environmental thrust.
Yeah.
And
That's right,
So
yeah.
it depends on the jurisdiction. And this idea of one country's education system being better than the other, I can understand because they scored well on a standard test. Yet overall, where are the people in the world going to for their post-public education? When they want to go for postgraduate education, where will they go? Right now, they're flocking to Canada.
True.
Well,
Hello. Let's make a pause.
yeah.
Let's pause real quick.